Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you on how to do customer segmentation using the power of AI agents. But first let me show you on what is the difference between a traditional way of doing customer segmentation versus an agentic way to do it. So an agentic way for customer segmentation is a goal-driven approach where you define your business goal, then the agent will think on what are the different features it needs to fulfill this goal, and then the segmentation will happen based on the fields which have been chosen which match with your business objective. Now compare that with a traditional approach where an analyst will manually choose all the different variables and then it is going to make this customer segmentation. So what I'm going to show you today is we are going to define a goal and then the agent is automatically going to select what are the different features or columns which are required to fulfill their goal, and then the customer segmentation is going to happen based on that. So let's now build such an agent from scratch. So I'm going to use my platform called as datajarvis.ai, which is going to help us build such an agent visually, and you can also try it out. It is free to get started. So let me first start by logging in. So once I'm logged in, I will see various agents which I've created, and of course you can see I've created quite a lot, but let us first start by creating a new agent. Now here you see a default agent which has got an access to a large language model. So large language model in fact is the brain of the agent, and then you also have tools. So tools is where the action happens. You can consider the tools as, let's say, the hand of an agent. So this is the brain and this is the hand where all action is going to take place. But first of all, let us configure the brain, and brain requires an access to large language model, and I'm going to define the large language model as data Jarvis free. And if you want, you can see what is this large language model by looking into the model hub, and here you'll see that the data Jarvis free corresponds to the Claude HiQ 4.5 large language model. Now let us also configure the different tools. So for a customer segmentation problem, you will require tools which correspond to clustering. So I can choose here, going in this particular agent over here and selecting clustering as a tool. In addition, we can also get a tool which is get column names, which will allow us to get all the different columns which are available in the data set. So our agent has now got access to the large language model as well as it has got access to all the tools. Now let us also quickly see what is the data what we are going to work with. So I'll go to the data hub, and here we are going to work with this data set which is called as telco customers. So this data set is coming from a telecommunication company, and here you can see that this data has got information related to the customer ID, the gender, as well as information related to the tenure. It means how long the customer is with the company, plus it has got information related to the different services which the customer has, as well as it has got information related to the total charges which the customer is paying. Now let us execute this agent, and I'm going to ask a question to this agent such as so the question I'm asking to the agent is use the data set telco underscore customers and then make clustering so that I can find high value customers. So we have defined the objectives. As you can see that we are not defining what are the different fields which should be used, but we are directly defining the objective. So let us now send this question to the agent and let us see on what it replies back. So here you can see that the first tool which it is using is the get column names on the data set telco customers. So I can approve this tool usage and resume. Now it has come out with this conclusion that to identify high value customers, it is going to use financial and engagement metrics, And for this, it is going to use fields such as monthly charges, total charges, and tenure. So this is pretty powerful because it has automatically determined what are the different fields which are required as per the objective what we have given. And it has also identified that it is going to make 3 clusters, and now it is calling the clustering tool for the data set telco customers, number of clusters 3, as well as the column which are matching the objective which has been given to the agent. So let us approve and resume. So the clustering is done now, and as you can see that the cluster 0 are the premium high value customers, and it has also determined the average charges for these customers as well as the total charges as well as the tenure. And it also has come out with an insight that these are the most loyal and valuable customers. They have the highest lifetime value, and they also pay a moderate fee and also have a low churn rate, making them reliable and long-term revenue generator. So it has not only identified the high value segment, but at the same time, it has also given a descriptive explanation of why this segment is a high value segment. In addition, it has also come out with other clusters such as budget conscious customers plus the at-risk customers. Now, let us also ask the agent to make an HTML dashboard about these clustering results. So as you can see that it has now come out with a nice looking dashboard, and here you can see that total there are about 7,000 customers, and it has identified the premium high value customers have got an average monthly charge which is much more than all other customers. So it also kind of matches with the insight that these are our high value customers. In addition, you can also see that total charges which is paid by high value customers is much more compared to other customers. And you can also see that the tenure, the average tenure of the customers who are high value customers is also much more compared to others, which justifies that the cluster is in fact indeed a high value premium customer cluster. In addition, it has given all the different key figures for all the different segments. So premium high value customers, as you can see, that they have very good high monthly charges, and they also have a low churn rate. And in addition, if you compare it with budget conscious customers, they have a low churn rate, but they are also paying less monthly charges. And you have these high risk customers who have a moderate monthly charge, but they have a very high churn rate. So this is pretty interesting because we went from just defining the objective to the final result as well as an HTML dashboard, and we do not have to manually select the fields, neither we have to manually select on the process which is required. So that is the power of agentic clustering. And let me also quickly show you the tools which were used. So the tools which were used was clustering, which is basically a Python code which takes into account the data set as well as the number of clusters and the column. And here I'm using the clustering function called as k-means. So first I'm loading the data. I'm trying to identify what are the numerical columns, what are the categorical columns. I'm applying some pre-processing such as standard scaling the numerical columns as well as one-hot encoding the categorical columns. Once the pre-processing is done, I'm applying the k-means clustering, and then we are also getting the silhouette score, which indicates the accuracy of clustering, and all the results are then returned back as a message back to the agent. And also I can quickly show you the get column names, which is pretty simple. It takes into account the data set. We convert that into a data frame, and then we are identifying the numerical columns, the date columns, as well as non-numerical columns, and returning back the message to the agent. So I would recommend that you should also try this out. Go to my website datajarvis.ai and try out customer segmentation, give an objective and try to see if the results are matching to your objective or not. If you like the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and see you soon in another exciting video where I'm going to build another exciting agent which is doing work on data, which is doing data analysis, and which is going to help you solve many of your data science and data analysis tasks. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.